Hi, friends. If you're looking for a new manga to read that is both good for the October kind of spooky season and has witches, then I have a manga recommendation for you. And it is called Gin no Mugibatake, or the Silver Wheat Field. Here is a little bit of information on the series before we go into talking about it. So currently there are 3 volumes. I don't know if it's 3 and done. I've only read the first volume, and I'm gonna buy the 2 next volumes ASAP because volume 1 was very good. As far as I know right now, there is no official English print, but fingers crossed it comes soon because it is a very good one. And it was written by Tsuzawa Ina. And that's a mangaka new to me, but I will be looking into them because I do really enjoy their storytelling style. I think it's very interesting. If you don't want spoilers, but you just want to know like a couple, like don't spoil it for me, but just let me know. Here that is. So, is there a happy ending? Obviously, it's part one of at least 3 volumes, so there is no ending. But I will say this is a very big mystery series. There are low lows and like medium highs. So, like, it's not a happy story. It's not depressing or anything, but it's not a happy story. Is there romance? In volume 1, no. I did think it was a story of 2 witchy best friends. I thought they were both girls, but this character here is a boy. I just thought he was a woman with a cool haircut, but it's a woman and a man. But there is no romance between them, at least in volume 1, which I kind of hope it stays that way. I don't think it needs romance for it to be a good story. Like, it's very interesting on its own. And then, do I recommend the book? Yes, I recommend it. I highly, highly recommend it. This, I haven't been reading all too many witchy series right now. I think, and like I think every witchy series that I am reading, I I talk about the same. I always say they're interesting, they're fun, like they're unique, because they all are. I don't know what's in it. Like I'm also reading Witch Hat Atelier. Amazing, so unique, so interesting. But Gin no Mugibatake, also completely different, but still so unique, so interesting. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, let's talk about what happens in volume 1. So there are going to be some spoilers, but I'm not going to spoil the whole thing because I think everybody should read it if they can. So we have our main character, Mei, and she is taking part in a baking competition that has been held for about 200 years now. The first instance of this baking contest happened because over 200 years ago in this kingdom, the soil was absolutely barren. Absolutely nothing could grow on it. People were starving. It was a very, very bad time. One day, the golden witches, or wizards, came and embedded their magical powers into the soil, allowing crops to grow. And the crops that did grow were wheat. And it wasn't just any normal type of wheat, it was golden wheat. So the golden witches have golden hair, golden blood running through their veins, and the crops their powers produces also comes up golden. The people, so thrilled at being able to now eat and survive, cook the golden wheat into baked goods, and they eat them and they're happy and everything is good. One day, or so the festival is held to thank the golden magicians, basically. But one day, a silver haired, silver blooded witch appeared, and they used their magical powers to also produce wheat. Just like their hair and their blood, the wheat that their magic produced was silver. And the people, again, ecstatic, they loved the magic. They took the silver wheat, baked it into baked goods, and they handed it to the emperor as a sort of like, thank you so much, here you go. The emperor could only take one bite into the silver wheat baked goods before bursting into flames. And not just the emperor, his castle as well. Everything burnt down, and it took the Golden Witches quite a while to rebuild everything after the fire. Terrified of the Silver Witch, and it seemed like there was only one, terrified at that Silver Witch for it's not known if it was intentional or unintentional, but either way, it was their magic wheat that caused the king to get to spontaneously combust. So they were sentenced to death. So no silver is wanted in the kingdom whatsoever. No more silver witches. The only witches that are praised now are the gold witches. So going back to our main character, May, she is an entrant into the baking competition where they baked goods using golden magic embedded wheat, and she comes in second place, which is still pretty good. And she wins a silver wheat brooch from one of the golden magicians, Gino. And she's not that happy because, second place isn't first place. I get it. But she takes her prize back to her father. And her father is a little bit strange. She claims that they used to have a very, very good relationship until her mother died. And her mother died by something called the white silver sickness, which is a sickness. It's not known if it's linked to silver magic, that's just its name, but it's a sickness that causes people to age very, very rapidly and then die young. So her mother was very, very young when she died. And before the mother died, they had such a nice family, a very, very normal childhood. After her mom died, her father became very, very obsessed with keeping her safe, keeping her nearby, always had to be inside. He has to know what she's doing. Very, very overbearing parent. And he sees his daughter come in second place with a silver brooch. And he thinks, silver is what killed my wife. My daughter's wearing silver, cannot have that. And he reminds me that like all of the silver witches were sentenced to death. Like you cannot have anything silver on you. Your brooch is ugly, like bad daughter. And she runs away because her father is getting kind of aggressive. She did her best to win the prize, crappy father. She runs and runs and runs and enters a forest where she continues to run and subsequently falls off a cliff. And she injures her leg as she falls off the cliff because it's a pretty high cliff. And a mysterious silver haired man comes and checks on her and he heals her leg. And this man, we later learn, very later, is named Bell, and he is the Silver Witch who was charged with the execution of the king or the assassination of the king. And he is living here at the bottom of the cliff, kind of in exile. It's not known if the people know that he is actually still alive at the bottom of the cliff, but he's living there in a vast silver wheat field with his little house just in the middle. And May does not care that he's a scary silver witch. She sees him as the very, very kind witch who saved her. So the two of them very, very, very slowly start getting along better and better. She continuously goes to visit him. They're kind of becoming friends. We slowly learn the extent of her father's abuse on her. It is abuse, but May doesn't see it as abuse. She sees it as her father's just a little bit overbearing. And we see that Belle, the witch, really does not like seeing his friend May get injured. So they have a really sweet relationship. Like from his introduction, it's very, very clear that Belle is a very, very kind person or witch. But May wants to make Belle baked goods as a way of saying thank you for being so kind to me all this time. Thank you for helping patch up my leg when I fell the first time. So she bakes him baked goods using the golden wheat that she has always baked with. And she brings it to him and she gives it to him. And he starts to eat it. And he says it's delicious until he begins coughing up blood. Because it turns out that silver magicians cannot eat anything embedded with gold magic. And he says it's like poison to him. I don't know if it's the same, the opposite, but we do know silver cannot eat gold. And so May apologizes. She says she wants to make him something that she can have him ingest. And she asks if she can borrow some of his silver wheat. He's a little bit reluctant, but he does say yes. So she takes it home, bakes him some baked goods with it, and heads back. But she ends up leaving a little bit of residue, that's silver, on the kitchen counter. And her father unfortunately sees it. So he sees his hated silver flower, and he follows her off the cliff to the field of silver wheat, and he watches, like, kind of through the window, kind of creepily, of May and the silver witch Belle as she's giving him his baked goods. And the father thinks, like, oh, this is my opportunity, and he sets the silver wheat field on fire. And it seems like the silver wheat field is kind of a power source for Belle, because once it's set on fire, instantly he's very, very, like, weak. He's like fainting, kind of. And May, wanting to save her precious friend, takes a bite of the silver wheat embedded baked goods. Belle is very much like, whatever you do, do not eat anything with silver wheat. Don't let it anywhere near you. But May wants to save him, so she ingests it, in turn making herself a silver witch. I guess half. She gets like a cool undercut that's silver, but the top of her hair is still black. And very, very quickly, she does indeed become a witch. And using the powers is pretty interesting because she just kind of out loudly states that she wishes that her father would go away. And he, like, fades into nothing, like he's teleported away just because she wished him out loud to go away, which was pretty interesting. And we learn after the father goes away, the field's still on fire. We learn that it was Belle's magic that was keeping this place put together. It wasn't really a field that was always there at the bottom of the cliff. It was his magic that created the field that saved his life when he was sentenced to death all those years ago. And now that it's on fire and he's losing his power, and May does not have enough power to save him, they're basically going to fall, like, into the place is going to disappear and they're going to fall. But before anything can happen, the two of them are teleported thanks to that silver wheat brooch that the gold magician Gino gave to May at the very, very start of the series. And once they get there, Gino's like, hey, what's up? Like, the brooch I gave you told me you were in danger. That's why you came here. Like, what's going on? And Gino seems like a perfectly kind person. Right when we met Gino from the start, too. Super duper kind, very, like, concerned with everything, seemingly a very good witch. But so we get there. Belle passes out instantly, and Belle does not wake up for the remainder of this volume, which was really a really big bummer for me. And so May, thinking that Gino is a very, very kind witch that she's known for a little while, at least somewhat, like they're clearly on friendly terms, she explains everything that happened to him. And he goes, oh, cool, so you're becoming a silver witch. Like, help me out with some stuff. And so May, a little bit reluctantly, does help Gino. They travel together to fix stuff happening that's not really all that relevant to the main story. What is relevant is that Gino knows that May is a silver magician. And we learn Gino is kind of collecting silver magicians. Well, it's kind of alluded to that there was only one silver magician, there's actually three now. And all three live in Gino's kind of castle manor place. And I don't think anybody else that doesn't live in their manor, I don't think it's known to anybody that he's collecting these silver magicians. It seems to be the case that the normal residents think that the silver witches have all been wiped out. That could not be further from the truth. They're just chilling in Gino's castle. And Gino clearly is a little bit afraid of the silver magic. He understands it's a lot more powerful than his golden magic. And it's clear he kind of wants to do something about it, but we don't know what. And that's basically, I did leave out a couple chunks just because I don't want to spoil the whole thing, but that's the basic plot of volume one. So we have May, who ends up becoming a witch to save her witch friend, and her witch friend who kind of falls into a coma, I would say, after May's father strips most of his power from him. And that's that. So I really loved this story. I like friendship stories. I don't think every good story needs romance to be a good story. And from what I can tell in this book, there isn't, at least in volume 1, there's no romance. There's just a lot of camaraderie. I do think Belle is about 10, I think he's about 10 years older than May. And so I'm hoping they take on like a mentor-mentee relationship, because May kind of, she didn't technically lose her father, but she kind of did when her mom died, because her father went crazy and he's not a good father to her. So she needs somebody to kind of help her and like shelter her from the scary world. And I do think Belle would be a very good person for that because it's clear he does care for her. And I will be a little, like a tiny, tiny bit sad if their relationship turns romantic. Unless he's revealed to be her age, and then I'll be a little bit more okay with it. But I'm pretty sure he's about 10 years older than her, and I do not like that age gap. I will say, like, one little spoiler is that May learns how to visit Belle in his dreams because he's in a coma. And I thought that was very unique. I really, really liked that. There are a lot of things about this series that are unique that I really like. Not just the art, because the art is also beautiful. It's very, very unique. The concept of May being able to ingest the silver wheat in order to become a silver witch. I thought that was interesting. The notion that Belle is able to create new silver witches, but nobody has the power to create gold witches is also very interesting. And then why can silver witches not ingest gold magic? And is it the same the other way around? I have so many questions. I really do like that so many different, some small, but some very large mysteries were introduced in this series. We also, I don't know if it's a nightmare, but I don't want to spoil too much, but when May visits Belle in his dream, May is kind of like not well, kind of hypnotized, but what I thought was a nightmare because it's in a dream and we don't get to see what happens because it's a cliffhanger. But I thought that was so interesting. And I couldn't tell if it was like, okay, Gino's the bad guy. So Gino did this to May so that this would happen in the dream and then Gino gets what he wants. It's very unclear. Like, Gino is very strongly hinted at being the bad guy, but it's never expressly shown that he is the bad guy. So we know Belle is kind of scared of Gino. He says, like, save May from Gino. He's going to do to her what he did to me. But we don't know what Gino did to Belle. We don't know if Belle maybe misunderstands something. Maybe Gino is hiding all of the silver witches at his manor to save them because he knows that they will be sentenced to death if anything should come out about them. We don't know, and I find that very interesting. So I'm very, and I also kind of like Gino. I think he's interesting. He's very mysterious and I like him. I like just about every character that appears in this volume, to be honest. But yeah, that is Gin no Mugibatake. And I'm very, very excited to buy the next two volumes so I can catch up. I really do hope it's a longer series because I've grown pretty attached to all of these characters.